So when they said they were going to eliminate a suspect in the first episode of the season, they actually meant they were going to eliminate a suspect. Yeah. Hey everyone, my name is Americ from HappyCool and welcome to a brand new review for The Mentalist for Season 6, Episode 1, titled The Desert Rose. Before I jump into the review of this episode, I first wanted to thank each and every one of you who commented, liked, and supported my previous video for the advanced review for this episode. So I'm glad we can now talk about this episode after we're both on the same page. You saw the episode, I saw the episode, let's get into it. Before I jump into what worked and what didn't work in this episode, let me just first talk about the story. It happens right after the list has just come out. Lisbon is in shock. Jane doesn't really know what to do, and after a series of circumstances, they find themselves investigating a murder, which turns out was perpetrated by locals who were out to make a quick buck, and apparently a bigger sign, I guess. That was weird. In parallel, Lisbon, as she's investigating Red John on her own, is taken after discovering a dying Brett Partridge, and we think that she's taken by none other than Red John. So, what worked? OMG. So many things worked in this episode. First, let me talk about the fact there were two cases in one. I love when The Mentalist does that. When they have two cases in one, I kind of like it. I mean, clearly there's usually just a mini case at the beginning of the episode or something like that, and there's the larger case throughout. But I like seeing Jane use his insights twice instead of once. Actually, if I had a wish list, I would love to see an episode where he's just going through as many cases as he humanly can. That'd be really interesting to watch, right? And we cannot talk about this episode without talking about the performance in this episode. In my advanced review, I told you how these guys were really delivering something very different than we've seen so far. I felt we had a confused and quiet and sometimes angry Jane that we don't often see. It's a darker version of Jane. We rarely see Lisbon as defiant and as determined as we see in this episode, especially vis-a-vis Jane. So that was really interesting. It was also cool to watch Bertram take on this whole mysterious angle to him, and I was like, hello, what's going on there? It was heartbreaking in more ways than one to see Partridge show his unsure side and say, why are you looking at me like that? I was like, no. I started to like him. I didn't think it was possible, but I started to like Brett Partridge, and then they killed him. Why? Oh my god. That was insane. I mean, these guys brought such interesting nuances to the performance that it struck the right tone for the episode. So I enjoyed that quite a bit. And despite the darker parts in the storyline, I have to say there was a lot of humor in this episode, and that was really good. It was nice to see that Jane, even if he's shaken and rattled, managed to make it really funny. But I have to give it up to Lisbon. When Lisbon met Bertram, or when she met Brett Partridge, her reaction was just priceless. I mean, if they were RJ, she totally gave it away. I mean, 100% gave it away that she knew. That was pretty funny. And it was also kind of funny when they had that scene where Patrick is like, did you tell Grace? Grace, did you tell Rigsby? Rigsby, did you tell Joe? Oh my god. I was laughing so hard. That was pretty funny. The biggest thing that worked for me were the chills that I got in this episode. And they happened throughout the episode. In my advanced review, I used the words emotionally violent because that's what I felt when I was watching Jane and Lisbon fighting. I mean, if you saw the preview, you saw that there was a fight. And this is not the first time that these guys are fighting. But it didn't feel like a normal fight. It felt like this was a bitter combat, and it just felt, so uncomfortable to watch. It was like watching your parents or your best friends fighting. It's just so weird and so wrong. You're like, I want to be somewhere else. I can't. Stop fighting. Stop fighting. That's how I felt. I mean, I don't like to see them fighting, but from a storyline perspective, with Jane running after her car and calling out to her, that was just heartbreaking and chilling. It was just all kinds of awesome, and I loved it. It was also chilling to just see Brett Partridge dying, and you're like, no, I started to like him. What happened? No, don't die. Oh, he's dead. By the way, what was he saying? I couldn't, he was trying to say something and I was like, are you saying the name of the guy? And I just, that was so frustrating. That was kind of awesome too. So yeah, conflicted. But that final scene with Lisbon, with the paint, the Red John smile on her face. I mean, okay, I don't think she's dead because, you know, Robin Tunney is still in future episodes, so I'm doubting that she's dead. But as mind games go, that's like up there. I mean, Red John is on a tear, and that was pretty epic. Yeah, that was kind of weird. That was kind of weird, yet awesome. Now on to what didn't work. Now, please remember that what I'm about to say, I'm talking about things that didn't work in an episode that I loved, all right? I just want you to keep that in mind, that whatever I'm gonna talk about, I still love the episode. What really bugged me in this episode, and probably is gonna bug some of you as well, Lisbon. Lisbon. And I'm saying her name 3 times for a reason, because she made 3 mistakes in this episode. Mistake number 1, bugging Red John. Why would you do that? There's 0 benefit in you bugging the 7 suspects there are Red John, because let's say one of them is, and because you're not sure and you're trying to find out where they are. If you're Red John, are you gonna take your official phone and carry it around you while you're out committing crimes? I don't think so. I think you're just gonna put it aside, go do your thing, and go get your phone. So really, no point in bugging Red John. And plus, it's a stupid risk because guess what? He might find out. And guess what he did? He found out. Mistake number 2. Why, Lisbon? Why on earth would you tell Van Pelt? Of all people you could have told, Van Pelt, not the best choice. Because we're talking about a person who not once, but twice brought in 2 murderous boyfriends in the freaking CBI. She is, how can I put this delicately? Naive. A little bit naive. And she sort of wears her emotions on her face, which is why the entire team found out about this whole thing. So you telling Van Pelt didn't seem like the right choice. If you really had to tell someone, you should have told Cho. Cho would have kept that locked down. Cho, he would have been like, that's Cho. That's what Cho would have been. Come on. Mistake number 3. Entering the house alone. Oh my God, such a cliche. Why on earth would you ever enter a house without backup, knowing full well there's a Red John suspect in there? What were you thinking? Oh, I got an anonymous tip and Red John suspect is in there, so I'm gonna go in without backup, because it's not like Red John has, I don't know, disciples. I mean, what if she walked in and there were like 7 people pointing a gun at her? What would she have done? Oh my God, Lisbon, why would you ever do that? That makes 0 sense to me. I was like, what is she doing? Oh, that was not good. That was not good. No, not happy at all about that part of the story. At all. That's all really that didn't work in this episode. I know I'm super emotional about this, but at the same time, I really like this episode. And if these things had just been better, it would have been like more than epicness. It would have been hashtag super epicness or something like that. Yeah. So anyways, that's what I thought of this episode. What did you think of this episode? Comment below and let me know what worked for you, what didn't work for you. Do you agree with me? Did Lisbon make a few mistakes here and there? Comment below and let me know. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe, because I review The Mentalist every single week, all the way up until the finale. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.